So I'm recording this live for you to post up on YouTube just in case I have to miss a session at some point. This is a Pilates session. It's going to be around 45 minutes, so maybe a little bit shorter than our normal sessions have been during lockdown. The whole thing is going to be done lying down. So when you're ready, come onto your mat, on your back, and we're going to start just in a nice comfortable position down on our mats. It doesn't matter whether or not you have your legs straight or bent, but we're going to set up our position first. So we're going to take a little scan through the body, starting with our feet, working our way up and finishing up with our head. So the first thing is place your feet. Wherever your feet are, you need to put them there. And then it's up to you whether or not the feet are flat on the floor or whether you're digging your heels a little bit into your mat. Either is fine. And in whichever position you've chosen, your legs are alive. And then we want to set up a neutral spine. So make sure that your back is in neutral. Remember, neutral isn't natural necessarily. So your tailbone presses into the mat. There's a little gap, a little ball of air underneath your lower back. And then your bottom rib presses into the ground. So for me, my natural position here would be to turn my pelvis up towards the ceiling and flatten my back. So I need to dip my pelvis down to create that ball of air, making sure that all my ribs are on the ground. My shoulders are spread out. So I'm going to turn the palms of my hands up to open up my collarbone. And my head is in the center. And then all I'm going to do is breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. So as I inhale, my tummy's going to rise. As I exhale, my tummy falls. Breathing in and out. And then we need to connect to the muscles of our center. So as you breathe out, tighten up the pelvic floor. Pull the belly button away from your t-shirt and try to shrink the sides away from your t-shirt. And that way, you start to engage the muscles in the center. It feels quite energetic, like you're having to work at it. And so from there, we're going to warm up through the shoulders and the spine. So as you breathe in, float the arms, both of them, up and over the shoulders. Allow the arms to open out wide to the side and then circle the arms back in, bringing the little fingers in towards your legs. Let's do that again. Breathe in and breathe out. Now, if you want to, you can start to bring those arms closer towards the ears. But as you do that, make sure that your ribs don't leave the ground. We're going to just do one more like that, breathing in. And then as we circle the arms out, pause with the arms out wide and let gravity bring the arms to the floor. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, we're going to gently sweep the knees from first one side over to the other. Getting the shoulder blades to stay tight to the floor so that there's no movement in the upper body, but we're starting to twist the spine by moving the lower body. Go for an equal number to each side and then finish in the center, sweeping the arms up towards the ears. And then as you breathe out, tuck your chin on your chest and roll your shoulders off the ground, trying to round the back and bring yourself up. Breathe in and bring the arms back to where they started. So then as you breathe out, once again, you can tuck your chin in and round your back. Now, how high you come is entirely up to you. If you want to come up a little bit higher, come up a little bit higher. For some of us, that's easy, that's okay, we don't have a problem with that, but for others, that's a little bit too much. So don't come so far. But let's do 3 more. And remember, the arms are optional. So if bringing your arms up over your head pulls on a scar, or it just feels uncomfortable, or today it just isn't right, then don't do it. Now, next time when you're off the ground, stay off the ground. Breathe out and bend to the side on one side, then bend around to the other. So I'm going first one way and then the other, trying to reach around the side. But if you're finding that just a little bit too much, then support the head, stick with a lower bend around the side on one side and around on the other. But you don't need to be so high. Equal number on each side. Finish with both arms by your sides and roll slowly back. When you get back, everybody's knees are bent and we're going to rise up into our first bridge, pushing the knees towards the toes. Now, if you want to, you can go straight up and down, but if you're not quite ready for that yet, then a little tilt, squeeze and push, rising higher with each bridge. But watch that you're not pushing backwards into your shoulders, but rather pushing over your toes with your knees, so that as you rise, you feel your hamstrings and your glutes, and may even start to include the extensor muscles of the spine as you rise and fall. Remember that as you come down from your bridge, your bum doesn't move until you've put the top of your back, your shoulder blades, your ribs onto the ground first before your bum drops. When you reach the bottom of your bridge, the next time, just let the knees fall apart and then bring them back together again. We're going to take a little stretch for the inner and outer thigh and a little bit of a warm up through the hips. Open and close the knees and allow the feet just to roll onto the little toe and then come back flat. Now, next time when the knees are open, keep the knees open and bring the soles of your feet together. Allow the knees to drop out, so we're getting as much space as you can through the hip. And then you can gently start to rock from side to side, working a little through the obliques, keeping the spine in neutral and getting the legs to gently encourage the work into the obliques. Finish in the center and let the knees fall open. Breathe 3 times, in through the nose and out through the mouth, letting the knees fall apart. And then very slowly bring both knees back into the center. Then from there, we're going to float first one leg up and over the hip, put that leg back down, and then we swap over. And our focus here is on maintaining neutral in the spine. So not allowing the back to change at all. And that's where the challenge lies. Maintaining neutral and staying connected to the center. If you think you've got that, then hold your leg up, bring the other leg to join it, imprint the spine into the mat and go from the top down. And that's a little bit different in that now we're trying to maintain imprint rather than maintain neutral. So the tummy works harder. And from there, hold the knees over the hips and just cross and uncross the legs, letting the knees drift out a little wider. If you wish, you can make this movement a little longer, extending the legs towards the ceiling before crossing the ankles down near the bottom. We'll do 3 more like that, changing the top leg each time and then finishing with the legs straight up in the air. We'll take an external rotation of the legs, bringing the heels together and the toes apart, and maintaining imprint, pull the knees towards us, spreading them out wide. Push the heels away and then pull back in, knees out wide. And as the legs drift away and then back together again, we begin to feel the tummy work to keep the back on the ground. Next time when your knees are bent, keep your knees bent. Bring the knees back together and let the feet fall down towards the ground. Reset neutral, and from here we're going to prepare for our 100. So all I want you to do is lift the arms up and down, tapping the ground with the hands. Connect your breathing to the movement of the arms. 5 taps to breathe in, 5 taps to breathe out. So together it goes in 2, 3, 4, 5, out 2, 3, 4, 5, in 2, 3, 4, 5, out. And on the next out breath, bring your head and shoulders up off the ground. Now 10 more breaths. Out 2, 3, 4, 5. In 2, 3, 4, 5. Out 2, 3, 4, 5. And the moment you notice your neck hurt is the moment that your tummy has given up on holding your weight. So keep your chin tucked in. Out 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull the belly button down to the spine and feel that tummy really work. But nothing moves except the arms. In 2, 3, 4, 5, out 2, 3, 4, 5. Slowly lower the head and shoulders down. Breathe in, take the arms up. And as you breathe out, tuck your chin on your chest and roll yourself up to sitting. Now we're going to go back to that movement again, but before we get there, we're going to do a little bit of work sitting. Hold on to the back of your legs, round your back into a C curve, pulling the belly button to the spine, and then pull yourself up nice and tall. Let's do that again. We go round and pull, belly button to spine, and then I'm using my legs to assist my rise and fall. If you find that easy, then we can take away the support by doing the exact same thing, but without holding on. If that's too hard, go back to holding on to the legs. But aim to really get that rounding through the back. One last time like that. And rise up. Now this time as we roll back, we're going to pause. Engage the abs really tight and then lift first one arm and then the other. 3 times on each side. Pulling up and dropping down. Last time each side. And then bring yourself up to sitting. Nice and tall. This time we have 3 lifts, but it's with the legs. So round the back, lift first one leg, then lift the other. But again, if that's too much, and you'll know if it's too much because you'll start to feel your back instead of your tummy, then hold on or don't lift, and rise. And this time we do both together. So we roll back, we engage the arms, right leg and left arm and right leg. And 3 times on each side. Focus on tightening the waist, pulling your skin away from your t-shirt. And then rise all the way up. Hug your knees and gently pull your feet just off the ground. We're going to breathe in, and as we do so, we're going to roll back. Keep the chin tucked in. As you breathe out, we roll back up to sitting. Now, if this isn't for you and you just don't want to do this at all, then you can go back to just the sitting stretch, working your tummy. We have 5 more, rolling like a ball. Chin tucked in. Last couple. And on the final one, we finish sitting up nice and tall. Extend the legs in front. Turning the toes up for now. I'm going to roll back down. I'm going to bend my knees and bring my knees back to where I started. So now I'm in a neutral position once again. And from here, I'm going to breathe in and take those arms back up, circling out, just like we did right at the very beginning. Breathing in and breathing out. Now from here, we're going to start to work the tummy that little bit harder. So next time when your hands come back into your side, float both knees up and over the hips. See how that feels to you. And then from there, go into the move we did just earlier, where we dropped first one leg and then the other. Now you can stay there if you prefer. But if you'd like to make that harder, then straighten the legs and lower first one leg and then the other. That feels good? Not hard enough? Then join your legs together. Zip them up and see if you can lift and lower both legs. But remember, the moment you start to feel your back leave the ground, you've gone far enough. And don't go any further until you can control the spine by tightening through the center. On completion of the next repetition, bend the knees and bring the knees over the hips. Spread the arms out wide and we're going into a spine twist. But this time the knees are over the hips, which makes it a little bit harder on the obliques. If that feels too much to you, then go back to where we were, where we had the feet on the ground and we just did a gentle sweep with the knees. Do an equal number to each side. And then relax the heels against the bum. Bring the arms up to the ears, breathe in, and as you breathe out, bring your head and shoulders off the ground, reaching for your ankles. Breathe in and roll back down. Now again, if this feels too much to you, you can put your feet down. They don't have to be up in the air. We'll do 3 more. Bringing the head and shoulders as high off the ground as you can get them. And this time, on the last repetition, we stay up. Make a little nest for your head out of your hands and bring your elbows together. Now from there, start to cross and uncross your ankles like before. Everything the same, but the exception that our head and shoulders are now off the ground. Breathe out as you bring the legs in. There we go. Now you can lower the legs a little to make it a fraction harder if you wish. And then next time when the legs are straight, keep them straight. External rotation with the legs. Bring the heels together and the toes apart. Pull in and out, little frog legs. Remember, if you want to put your head and shoulders back down, feel free to put them down. Breathe, and it should be trembling now. The tummy working super hard. Now we hold the legs away. Out come the arms, and we do our 100 for real. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now if that's too much, you can bend your knees, or you can go back to where we were with their feet on the floor. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last 2 breaths. And then hug both knees in towards your chest and lower your head and shoulders to the ground. As you breathe in, lengthen the legs away. As you breathe out, pull the knees in. Now, if you want to take this up into a double leg stretch, then you bring your head and shoulders up and off the ground and you pull the knees towards you. Breathe out as the knees come in. But for those of us that are struggling with that, just keep your head and shoulders off the ground. And remember, you can always just grab your thighs if that's a little easier than grabbing your shins. Last time, and we're gonna hold the knees in, lowering the head and shoulders to the ground. I'm gonna straighten my left leg and lengthen it away from me, so that I get that nice little opening feeling through the hip flexor. And then I'm going to straighten the right leg up into the air and spread out my arms. From here, I'm going into my leg circle. And I'd like you to do anywhere between 3 and 5 in each direction. But remember, if you haven't got control over the rest of your body and over your neutral back, then reduce your range and make the movement a lot smaller. When you finish your last repetition, bend that right knee and hug it in close. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, we'll swap the legs over. But if you want to, you can always bring your head and shoulders off the ground for what is now our single leg stretch. And this time, of course, I'm going to finish with my left leg in nice and close, and my right leg lies on the mat. Dropping my head and shoulders down, spreading out the arms, I bring that leg up. Now remember, you're breathing. You breathe out on the way down and in on the way up. But if that confuses you, just concentrate on control. Control is more important than getting the breath right. Connection to the center, more important than the breathing. As long as you're breathing. And when you've done around 3 to 5 in each direction, keep that leg in the air and reach for the back of your hamstring. And we're going to slowly climb the leg, bringing the leg towards us until the leg is as close as we can get it. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, swap. Swapping the legs, first one and then the other. Pulling the leg as close to your face as you can. Feeling the stretch in the hamstrings. Equal number on each side, and finish with both legs in the air. Lower the head and shoulders. Spread out the arms and circle both legs around and down. But everything else needs to stay still. So if that means you only do a tiny circle, that's okay. Equal number in each direction. And then from the top, slowly lower the legs all the way to the mat. Drag the arms up towards the ears and take a full body stretch. Deep breath in, and as you breathe out, chin on the chest, and up we come once again. Now, once you're up and sitting, take your feet about the width of your mat. The toes are pointing up towards the ceiling, and you're trying to sit right up on your sitting bones as tall as you can. Draw the belly button towards the spine, and this position should not feel comfortable. This should feel uncomfortable. And then from there, we're just going to open the arms out wide. Breathe in. Bring the arms up to the ears. Now pause here. Lift your rib cage and twist your ribs towards your big toe. Then as you breathe out, spread the arms. Breathe into the center, twist the ribs to the other big toe. Breathe out. Do you get it? Breathe in. Twist and drop as you breathe out. Breathe in. Twist and drop as you breathe out. We're going to do one more to each side. Balancing the sides. But then next time as you breathe out, fold forward. Take your little finger to your little toe. Breathe into the center, breathe out, twist, and we soar our way through the next 3 sides. Same thing to each side. 3 times to each side. Make sure you balance the sides. And this one is our last one. Now from there, we bring the arms down, circle them out, and bring the feet back in. We're going to bend the knees and drop the knees toward one side. In this position, I've got one hand on the mat and one hand on my ankle. I'm going to go into our mermaid, taking the arm over the top and then coming back the other way. Now, if that feels wrong, or you just really struggle with it, then instead, just cross your legs, or even have your legs straight as you go from one side to the other. Now from there, we're going to extend the legs in front of us. If you need to sit yourself up on a little cushion, or you need to bend your knees a little bit, then feel free to bend your knees. From here, we breathe in, bring the arms up, exhale, and fold forward. We'll do 2 more like that. Don't forget to lift the ribs and breathe out as you go forward. 1 more time, lift and breathe out. Now, when you pull back this time, stay sitting. Hands behind you, and I don't mind the angle at which you put your hands. Try bending your knees first to see how it goes, and as you breathe out, lift your bum and bring your body into a reverse tabletop. Lower your bum, extend the legs away, lift, and fold forward again. Let me show you from the side. The hands come back, the knees bend, I breathe out, and I lift into a reverse tabletop, opening my collarbone. Drop down, straighten, lift, and fold forward. Now, if that's too easy, then try a full reverse plank instead of the modified version. 1 more time. Spine stretch. Pulling back, reverse plank. And this time, as you go forward into your spine stretch, we're going to hold and wait in that position while our body lengthens. So if you can reach your feet, then hold your feet and try and lift your rib cage over your tummy so that you're getting the top of your head towards your feet. There's a stretch through the hamstrings and then into the lower back. However, if that's just impossible, then soften your knees, tuck your chin on your chest. You can use your legs for support and just really round your back. Take another 3 deep breaths, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And with each out breath, try to get that little bit closer to your destination. As you finish that 3rd breath, bring yourself back up to sitting. And this time we'll take the knees to the other side. And we go into the mermaid once again, over the top, come back, push over. Remembering the options that are there for you if you want to take them. Okay? First one way and then the other. You don't even have to take your arm over your head if you don't want to. If it aggravates an old scar, then just go around the front and over the other side. This is going to be our last one. And now this time, when your hand comes back to the mat, it comes towards the back of the mat. The other hand comes round, and we're going to come through and onto our hands and knees. So from this kneeling position, we're going to rise up into our cat stretch and then articulate the spine to cow. Now I want you to really focus on pushing the floor away, tucking your chin in and getting the belly button up to the ceiling. Tilt the pelvis, walk the spine, lift the chin. Now here, pause, wait. Now pinch your shoulder blades together, lift your chin a little bit further and see if you can get the back to really melt in the middle. Let's do just a couple more. Up and down. And on completion of the last one, find me neutral. Once again, remembering neutral and natural and not necessarily the same thing. And when you've found that, I want you to extend your left leg away along the mat, turning your foot so that your little toe, or not turning your foot, turning your thigh so that your little toe is pressing into the mat. Breathe out and lift that leg up and down. Now you can stay with this, breathing out to lift, breathing in to lower. Or if you find that easy, then step back into a plank and continue to lift and lower the left leg, keeping the hips still and the weight over the fingernails as the leg rises and falls. As you reach your 8th repetition, lower the right knee underneath. Extend the left leg and keep it lifted. Try to lengthen out of the hip. Push your weight to your fingers and bring the right arm up and off the ground. Now reach forward. It almost feels like I'm going to collapse onto the floor. Then I'm going to sweep my arm and leg away from the midline. The arm goes to around 10 past the hour. The leg goes round to around 8 o'clock. And the torso stays anchored and firm in the middle. Lower the hand Tuck the knee under and push back to child's pose so that you come off your wrist. If you need to, you can always give your wrist a little bit of a stretch. Link your fingers and just roll your wrists. Then from there, we're going to creep forward along the mat. We will do the other side, just not yet. When you get down to your mat, rest comfortably on your elbows. So my ribs are just on the ground, but my chest is off the ground. Feet together and knees together. And gently pull up on the pelvic floor and draw your belly button off the ground. Then I'm going to extend my right arm, reaching towards my skirting board, and at the same time lift my left leg. Swap over. Breathe out as you lift, breathe in as you lower. It's a nice, smooth, controlled movement. And you should feel the muscles working across the back, maybe into the bum, maybe into the hamstrings, but definitely feel the work. Good. Same number on each side, and then lower the head and shoulders to a position that's comfortable. I'm going to do the same as I did earlier on, lying on my back. External rotation of the legs from the hip, bringing the heels together and the toes apart. So now I have a little mermaid tail. I breathe out and I lift both legs at once. Breathe in and lower. Breathe out and lift. Breathe in and lower. And all the while I'm trying to lengthen my legs, to not bend my knees, to keep the external rotation, but at the same time to also engage my tummy, my pelvic floor, and stay centered. We'll do 2 more like that. And on the last repetition, we'll just relax the legs down. And then I want you to come back to where we were. So resting the chest just off the ground and the ribs on the mat. And we're going back into that lift. First one side and then the other. However, if that's too easy and you'd like to make it harder, then keep the legs together. Lift the arms and legs and then move the arms and legs as quickly as you can. Take 5 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. But if that's too much, go back to where we were, doing exactly what we were doing before. And then on completion of that last breath, bring your hands underneath your chest and slowly push back to a resting pose. Now from there, we're going to do exactly what we did before, but on the other side. So rise cat to cow, maybe 3 to 5 cycles, depending on how quickly you do it. Pushing the belly button right up towards the ceiling, right down to the floor. The pinch between the shoulders, the activation of the arms, and then finish in neutral. And this time, of course, it's the right leg that's going to slide away. The option to do this leg raise or a leg pull front from being in a plank position or from a kneeling position. You're doing 8 repetitions, so you might want to go 50-50. Or maybe phone a friend. Step that leg back. My jokes are excellent. Don't know why you're moaning. 4 times more from a plank position. And then I'm going to lower my knee, reset neutral, but the right leg is up in the air. Then I push my weight forward towards my fingers. Do you see what I did? I'm leaning into it. That makes me less stable. So now when I bring my left arm up, I really have to work hard through the tummy to keep everything lined up. And then the torso stays still. as the arm and leg sweep around and back. This will be the last time. And then from there, we lower the hand, bend the knee, and just gently push back to child's pose. Coming off the wrists just for one moment. Now we're going to come back onto the wrists and back into a little kneeling position once again. From here, extend either leg, it doesn't matter which one. Tuck the toe under and again push your weight through your hands and through your foot, but tighten the waist. Then as you breathe out, lift the other knee just off the ground. Breathe in and lower. Breathe out and lift. Breathe in and lower. We'll do 3 more. Up and down. And on the final repetition, when you bring that knee just off the ground, step the foot back towards a plank without moving your hips. Tuck your tailbone under, push your shoulders forward over your fingernails and lengthen the center. Then lower the other knee. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, lift the other knee off the ground. And it's that tightening, pulling the shoulder blades down the back towards your back pocket as the knee leaves the floor. Cha! Then we step back to plank. Engage the abs, lengthen the ribs to hips, shoulders over the fingernails. And as you breathe out, drive up toward a down dog. So now 80% more or less of your weight is in your legs rather than in your hands. So it should be a comfortable resting position. If you sweep forward and then lower the hips, lift the chest, and if you want to, lower the knees and release the feet. Then we go again, tuck the toes under, drive the bum up, drive the bum back, and flatten the armpits towards the big toe. One more time, come forward into plank, lower the hips, lower the knees if you need to, release the feet if you want to, and feel that stretch in the back. Last time, we're coming up. Heels down, now pause here. If you want to pedal the heels to get a little bit more stretch through the back of your legs, then go ahead. Then finish that position. Now it's up to you whether you walk the feet to the hands or the hands to the feet, and slowly bring the two together. Now from here, hold your elbows, look up at the top of your legs, and let gravity stretch your back. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, release the arms. Take a deep breath in one more time, and as you breathe out, we're going to roll up. Try to rebuild your spine, rounding your back, hollowing out the belly. Don't forget your neck. You've got to roll up through the neck. And when you finally bring your chin up, we're going to take a little stretch. First one side, and then the other, coming towards you so that you can see. First one side, and then the other. And then just hold. Tuck your chin on your chest and round your arms in front. Open up, arch back. Round and open. And the last time. Hold, shoulders back and down. And that's our 45-minute version of our Pilates. shoulder.